Hello and welcome to Bubbledome tutorial number 3 on Unity. We're going to create ourselves a little rugby game. Now we're going to work on scripting in this one. As you can see, if I click on the first person controller, you can see there are some scripts that control how it behaves, and you're not going to get any unique behaviour unless you actually write some script. So we're going to keep it as simple as possible. We're going to make ourselves a ball and we're going to write a script to act on it. So if we click on create other and we choose sphere, and we'll position that sphere out in front of the camera round about the ground over there. F to zoom in. If I use the Y scale, move it up, it looks a bit more like a rugby ball. And we're going to click on component and physics and rigid body as well, and that should allow it to act a little bit more like a physical object. So we click on it now, it should have dropped to the ground as it has. So what we're going to do is we're going to synchronize our project after we create ourselves a script. So we'll click in here, create, and I'm going to create a folder for all my scripts, and I'm just going to call it scripts, and inside that I'm going to click create and then a C# script. Now I'm going to call, it's a good idea to call it what it does, so I'm going to call mine ball script. And in order to get Monodevelop to run, what you need to do is you need to synchronize and create this project. So if you click on assets and sync Monodevelop project, what you'll get is the project will open up in Monodevelop. Now if your project doesn't open up in Monodevelop, I'll show you where it might be. Inside the assembly, C# assets is the folder that I made, scripts, and there's the ball script right here. Now I'll quickly show you where to find how to set that. If you go into edit and preferences, if you don't have Monodevelop set as your default script editor, you can set it here. You may need to browse to find where Unity is installed and choose Monodevelop from there. The other option would be very simply to open up Monodevelop, which you can find inside the Unity install in your program folders, and then you can find the project file that Unity creates. I'm sure your tutor will help you with that if you do have a little bit of problems. We're going to continue. We've got Monodevelop. I'm also going to show you where we can find all the help that we need before I do some more explanations. If you click on help and scripting reference, you'll get an excellent reference that comes up that has absolutely everything you need to read about if you want to work on Unity scripting. The common operations is the best place to start, and it's basically showing you how to access the different components through scripts. I'll just close this one and we'll get straight to it. So here we have a basic script in C#. These are the two libraries that we're going to be using, the Unity Engine and Collections, which allows us to access more of the data. The main class here is surrounded by these curly brackets. If I click on the bottom one, you'll see the top one's highlighted. These are just blocks of code. It's like the start and the finish, the bread between the sandwich. If I click this one here, you'll see there is an update function. Now obviously anything that gets done in update will be updated, will be called every single frame, and this start function that's been, the empty function that's been written for us, will be done once. So we're just going to do something really simple. We're going to access the component in the scripting reference for the rigid body. So if I just type in rigid body over here and I press enter, you'll see that rigid body comes up. It's a great place to find all the help, and we want to add some force to rigid body. We want to fling it off in some direction. We could maybe add velocity, or we could add force. There's an add force one. If we click on it, it shows you the component, the function that the component will use. It gives you an example over here and a little description of each of them. So we can see we can use a vector, or we can just use 3 numbers here to add a force. It does it in fixed update when we're adding forces, but we can continue to do it just in normal update. So we're just going to type in rigid body And if we use the small letter R instead of the big letter R, that will access the component that we attach this to. So if I start typing in rigidbody, the help comes up, I can click on it. I'll press tab to accept. If I press dot, you'll see that Monodevelop helps me finish this off. And if I start typing in add, you'll see it comes up with the force. I can click and use the up and down cursor keys to choose the right one, and press tab when I'm happy. And then if I open the brackets, you can click up and down to show you, you can use the up and down to show you which of the functions you might want to use. I'm just going to use this one right here. I'm going to start typing in 0, and then I'm going to choose 100, and I'm going to choose 200, and then press the semicolon to end the line. Now by saving this and going straight back into Monodevelop, you'll see that it compiles and the script becomes available to use. Now if I press play right now, absolutely nothing will happen. The ball still sits there and no force is added to it, and the reason for that is because I've not added the script to the object. So if I click right now and drag ball script straight onto sphere right here, or I could actually drag it straight on to the 3D object too, you'll see now by clicking on sphere, the script is one of the components, and by pressing play a force will be added to that ball and it will fly off at a ridiculous speed into the wrong direction. And what went wrong? Well, because we're using this every single frame, every frame we're adding force to the object. So what I'm going to do just right now is I'm going to put in another little block of code for an if, and we're going to type in if input dot get key down, and then start typing in key code, and I'm just going to say space, there we go, and a curly bracket at the end of that one. And what that's done is it's put a new block of code for an if statement which checks for the space bar to be hit. Now the same with blocks of code, we need brackets for an if statement, and we need brackets before and after any function that takes any parameters, just like we have down here. So if I hit the space bar, we will add some force to the object, so whichever object it's attached to. So we'll just click right now, we'll save, go back to Unity, and we'll try it out. Once it's compiled, press play, looking at the ball, hitting space, and the ball kind of takes off, but not very much. Alright, your little task right now is to see if you can, when you hit the space, apply exactly the right type of force. And the little tip here would be, if you use force mode impulse, then it will apply an instantaneous force of a certain value. And your challenge is to work out exactly what would be right to get your ball with one press of the space bar to fly over your posts. Good luck.